Hi there Year 7s and welcome to the second demonstration on how to draw an isometric version of our Navy battleship boats. So at the beginning of this lesson you should be at this stage, so you should have something that looks very similar to what I've got on the screen. If not, then you need to click on last week's or last lesson's video and join up to this point first. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to start giving our boat a point on its nose. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to copy and paste this line here from the front. So if you haven't got a mouse or you're on a Chromebook, another way of copying and pasting is to go home, copy where these two little papers are, and then paste, clicking on that arrow and then pasting the clipboard with the A, like so. Okay, now we need to find the center of our boat. So because we've got an odd number, we're going to have to go in between those two triangles, like so. And as you can see, that's roughly central to the front of our boat. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we need to copy one of the other lines. At this point it doesn't really matter which one. Okay, we're going to line it up to the point that we've just added, and then we're going to join this other end down to here where these lines meet. Okay, so that's that first line. Okay, once we've done that, we're then going to copy and paste again, line that up here, and then line this one up on the other side, like so. Finally, we're going to do copy and paste this one again, so copy, paste. I'm going to drag this down like so, so line that up there, and line this one up there like so. So just like last time, guys, don't forget that you can pause this video. You can split your screen in two, so you can play this alongside doing it. But take your time. We've still got quite a few lessons left to do this on. Okay, so just take your time until you're happy with what you're doing. So as you can see, we've now got our triangle nose down here, but we've also got all these excess lines. So what we need to do is get rid of them. So what we're going to do is click on them. Yeah, you can either press backspace on your keyboard, or you can right click and click cut, or click the scissors up here on the screen. Okay, so then we're just going to get rid of all of those lines like so. If you did do a baseline down there, you need to adjust that to the right size. So now you should have something that looks like that. If you want, you can give your boat a bigger nose, or you can leave it smaller. Okay, so at this point you should have something that looks very similar to that. Right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut into these parts, so then we've got a nice little groove point. So the easiest way to do that would be to grab this line that you've drawn here, click on that and place it about halfway down. Okay, so now that we've brought this line down like so, you can either do it you can bring this down as low or as high as you want. Okay, so I'm going to bring mine down right down to here, so it's only 2 squares down from the bottom. Actually, I'm going to do it 3. I like 3. Let's do 3 from the bottom, like so. Okay, so now we've got a nice little step, but we're missing a few more lines. So I'm going to bring down this one, but before I do, I need to bring down this one, so then we've got our line going that way. Yeah, and we're going to join that up to the same level. Then our third line will come down like so, but because it goes over, we're going to adjust that until it only hits the line rather than goes across. Now I know that seems a bit confusing, but as you can see, it looks like we've now got a groove taken out of our boat, like so. So like I said, you can adjust this level. It can be right down here, it could be exactly halfway. This can go wherever you want, but then you have to make sure that these two lines join up to finish off the isometric look. Alright, now we need to do some adjusting. So as you can see, we're now missing some lines. Okay, so because this is my top turret, I still need a line going across here because these are two different separate pieces of wood, or they represent two pieces of wood. So I've copied and pasted a new line and I've stuck it across like that, and then going to drag this down until it meets up with that line. Okay, so at this point you should have something that looks very similar to like this. Okay, we've got a point to the nose of our boat, got that line that shows it curves around like that, although you can remove this if you want to. You should now have a little dent in your boat, and you've also got it all the way through. Okay, it doesn't matter about the height of this as long as you've got the other two sides. And then you should have an extra bit of line here to show that this bit is a separate block of wood. So now we're going to redo this over here. Okay, so you want to follow that line across and bring that down to match. And then we want to copy, paste with an A, that line here, and join that up with that line placement, like so. Okay, so at this point you should now have something that looks like that. Once you're happy with the nose of the boat and the grooves in the sides, you've adjusted it how you like it, we can now move on to the next step, and this is putting a mast and at least two turrets onto our boat design. So this is where it gets a little bit complicated. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a box. So pick up one of your lines, copy and paste that, and we're going to zoom in. So I'm going to do quite a small mast, but you can make yours wider if you want to. I want mine central, so I'm literally going to do this box in the central, like so. So I've got my first line, I'm going to copy, paste it, remove it, and I'm going to paste it again, adjust its placement, and copy and paste it like so. So now I've got my rough square. Okay, so now we know where we're going to put the bottom of our mast. Now I want a long bit, so I'm going to go copy, paste. I'm going to drag that and put that on the points of that square, like so. So I'm going to go bring it down. Okay, so it actually hits the edge of the page. And then copy, Lily, paste. So I've got that side there, copy, paste, and I'm going to put that point there like so. Okay, so really at this point, now that we've got our edges, we can remove any extra lines that will get in the way. Okay, so at this point you should have something that looks very similar to this. Okay, so now I'll show you how to do some turrets. So it's the same technique, but we're going to do it on at a different angle. Okay, so we want to copy and paste these small ones. I'm going to place mine in the centre, so I'm going to have 1, 2, like so. Yep, so it almost looks like my boat's got eyes. Right, then I'm going to drag my mouse over so I grab both those squares that I've made. I'm going to copy them and I'm going to paste with an A. Okay, and I'm going to place them over here somewhere. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to follow these lines so that they stay in line with their squares. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think I'm going to go and stay at 6, like so. Okay, so you can see that they followed, their corners have matched up still, and they follow along those same lines. So while still holding on to it, I'm just going to make sure it's fully lined up with the right squares and triangles before clicking off them. So now we need to join them up. So I'm going to grab a random line, copy and paste it with an A, zoom in so we can actually see what we're doing. I'm going to move those lines so that they meet every corner. I'm going to copy, paste with an A. Yep, copy and paste it. Move that so it joins up, like so. Paste with an A again. Move that line up like so. As you can see, it automatically does that line for you. Paste with an A. Oh. And paste with an A. Yeah. Okay, so at this point, as you can see, it looks a bit confusing, but it should look something like this. To make it less confusing, I'm going to remove those additional lines that we don't need. So to do that, let's start with this line here. I'm going to drag it up all the way to up here. Okay, and we're going to follow that line down, and you can down till it hits the next line. In this first turret spot, remove this and this line, and you can also remove this and this line. Okay. Next, we're going to adjust this line so it doesn't go through the turret. So you just drag that along that line until it meets the edge. Down here, we're going to adjust this line until it meets that edge. I'm going to also remove this actual little line that we don't need, like so. So at this point, really, you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so as you can see, it's almost a bit like an optical illusion. You've got your one square turret, your second square turret, and you've got the rest of the shapes of your boat, as well as your mast. So spend the rest of this lesson just neatening up those lines. If it's starting to get a bit confusing, you can change the colour so you can differentiate between the different lines. But just use the rest of this lesson to do some finishing touches. You can make your nose longer, you can make the bottom of your boat shorter or thinner, and you can just make sure that all those lines line up and meet nice and neatly together.